Business brokers, here's a few tips on how to sell, and this is called the 5 possible positive outcomes. And I got this really from Sandler. They're providing some training for some of us at the office, and I just want to share some of these sales tips. So this is the point where after having a meeting, you should come away with a combination of these 5 possible outcomes. Now, preceding that, they recommend that you get an upfront agreement when you go into a meeting with a seller. You say, hey, out of this whole thing, I want to share with you our presentation, and I want you to feel okay to even say no. The worst thing in the world is to say maybe or let me think about it, and you really want to push them away from that into the reality of saying, hey, yes or no. We'll go over those 5 possible outcomes. And so it's usually good to say, hey, I think we're going to spend, is it okay if let me ask you a few questions? Do you think we can dedicate the next 30 minutes or so to this conversation? At the end of the conversation, I want you to think through some of the key elements that we've discussed, and then feel free to say yes, which would be great, or no, or what have you. We'll go over the 5 possible outcomes right now. So there's 5 possible outcomes. All right. The first one, of course, is a yes, and that would be great. If they say, yes, I want to go with your contract, your program, and ideas, and that's kind of what we hope for. And now I skipped too fast to the next slide, but the other possibility is a no. The second best thing you can hear is nah, or just not going to do it, because you can move on and take your energy realizing that the services and the products that you have to offer are, at least at this point in time, not right for this particular client, and that frees you up. You sort of qualified them. Don't think about it as them qualifying you so much as, are you walking through, do what I have and the services that I have to offer fit the criteria and the needs of this particular client? And if not, you can move on. You can always move them to follow up in a year or something like that with them. But for now, you can relax and focus on taking care of the other people or finding other options. The third option is what I call a clear future. That is, they might say, let's think about it, or they might need some other time. So you can sort of be specific. You prefer them not to sort of vacillate, well, let me think about it. So let's be clear about the future. How about you say, well, I agree with you. I understand. I would have to think over all this stuff as well. Are you the type of person that needs a 2-day time frame or a week time frame? When should I follow up and reach out to you? Let's make a point and put it on our calendar. And they might say, well, yeah, I need a couple of days. So you might say 2 days. I'll tell you what, why don't we make it 3 days? I'll call you, and you look on your calendar and you say, how about if I call you 9:00 next Tuesday, or whatever the time frame might be, to give them some specific time. So that's a really good thing. So remember, it would be great if you got a positive yes. It's okay to get a no, and tell them, hey, it's okay to tell me a no, or have a clear future. Now, out of that, there's a couple other things that are important. One of them is that you should get a lesson from every sales call. So that means that when you get through with the sales call, whether it went great or went poorly, or you felt uncomfortable with it, or they still blew you off in spite of you trying to ask for a clear future, you should take a moment and reflect on it. Maybe even take some notes. I keep a record on the thing called notes on my cell phone, on my iPhone, and I put under sales or ideas or improvements. Here's a couple of different ideas. Be more direct. Make sure I get full attention. I get some ideas. Okay, that's 4. Remember the 3 were yes, no, clear future. One of those 3 is what you should come away with, and then add to it a lesson from every sales call, so you get a free education on it. And then number 5 is a referral. So even if they turn you down, say, no, we don't need you, or what have you, can you get a referral from them? Hey, would you recommend somebody? Maybe they feel guilty about turning you down. You can use that as an alternative to say, well, how about since you're not using me out there, who do you know that could possibly use our service or would be a good fit for me to go chat? Okay, so those are the 5 things out there. You should be able to get a yes, no, or a clear future, not just a maybe or let me think about it. And then, and that is preceded, that's begun by start and find out whether it's okay if you tell them, hey, I want to have a yes, a no, or a clear future on it in the beginning before you talk to them. And then it's, by the way, okay to say no. And then work on getting your sales call summary or lesson, your lesson from every sales call, and a referral. I'm going to give you one last quick tip out there. One of the things that I think is really good, and today in this day and age of cell phones everybody seems to have a cell phone in their hand or their pocket and stuff like that. And some clients can get real picky about, hey, let me take this call, let me get this, or the phone's ringing. So what we recommend and what I do is I turn my volume all the way off even before I walk in, but I pull my phone out of my pocket, I lay it down face down, I say, let me turn off the ringer on here because I want to focus on you. Now that gives them the message, hey, maybe they should do the same thing, and you put your phone out where you can see it. Okay, at the end of the day, they see it, they realize it, you've made a show over the fact that they're important enough that you're turning off all the calls, but at the very end, that you have your phone right there, and when you're doing your follow-up, whether it's a yes, and we let them follow up, or a no, and you're going to put them a year out to follow up with them again, even though they said no, or the alternative where it's a clear a clear future on it, say, well, let me put it in my calendar to follow up with you, and I'm going to do that right now, 9 o'clock on Tuesday, or whatever the time frame is, and I'll put that in there, and I'll call you then. Thank you very, very, very much. Okay, so anyway, this is Brian Stevens with Sales Tips for Business Brokers. This is one of the 5 possible positive outcomes. If you're not part of our group, but you're reading this, you can see our phone number on there, or you can go to our website at BuyBizUSA.com, and you can find our contact information. We're actually called the Legacy Venture Group, but on the brokering side of it, we have our website is BuyBizUSA.com, and you can find our information. This is Brian Stevens, and helping sell America's very best businesses. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.